Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We will go in on SRXH. They have AI in the business description and they are trying to improve decision making, which we need.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that checked and it's gone.
Welcome everybody to the Laughing Stock. How's everybody doing? Oh, this guy's rowing over here.
I have to row a little bit here today.
Nice.
There's we have World Cup fever here now.
Yeah, you guys are one step away from. I feel like I mean, not it's a big deal to get to the quarterfinals, but
yeah, we've never been in one either, so it's huge. And I don't know if you have seen some of the videos here, but like there was 100,000 people in the streets outside of the castle and everything. So it's taking off.
Yeah,
and I was really close to go to Miami.
Yeah, in another 4 years when this all's working out, we're going.
Yeah.
But Holland will be really in his prime then.
Yeah.
But
I think, yeah, that's the thing though. We waited 28 years just to be in a World Cup, and then they also deliver. So next time, if we qualify again, it's not going to be the same as this time. It's still going to be great, but the long wait and then delivering, that is like extreme for us, and people are just going crazy here. And I'm going to watch the game out tonight as well. And I think we will beat England. I think we will. And then it's the semi-final.
You guys heard it. Taking England down.
It's gonna happen.
England struggled at times. I mean, they also are explosive and dangerous. Like when it clicks for them, they are a great team. But I think there's a chance.
They have some weak points that we can take advantage of, but we need to be again at our best, which is hard to do for us. We have been like. We have a good team. People have underestimated the quality in our team, I think. I see the people now, when they talk about Norway, they just talk about like the two biggest players. And there's actually been like a few others that has performed not better than Holland, but, on a crazy high level. And they don't speak about them. So they don't have the overview. So I think England can... The team will probably analyze it correct, but the fans and everyone, they will get some surprises, hopefully. that we have other good players as well. But no, it's going to be a tough one. The chance will be if we can give some good service to Haaland in the box, which I think we will, because our wingers are pretty good, actually. I think my bet today is that you will see our left winger, a guy named Nusa. He scored against, who was it? Was it Ivory Coast? A beautiful goal. I think he will score today because he will destroy the England right back. They are not good. So that's going to happen.
I'll keep an eye on that part of the field. Yeah. No, I mean, the more I watch football too, you realize how important that cross into the box is. I mean, any team that gets that down, that just opens up so many scoring opportunities to be able to pass that ball cleanly in.
Yeah,
it's obviously easily said, not done. But
no.
Any team, like when the USA were really struggling at the end there, they just couldn't cross the ball in, and like you kind of shut that alley down. I mean, sure, you can pass around and slowly move in, but that's tough to do. That's really tough.
That's really tough.
Everything has to land just perfectly for that to work, which it does work. Yeah. You know, it just has to. It's just tough. Like the cross in, it's probably statistically got to be way higher in terms of actually leading to goals.
If you get some good balls in,
right.
That's why I like more like counter-attack based football, where things moves quickly and directly, and then you pass it in and it's a goal. You know, more than possession based, where it's 100 passes before a goal. I'm not a big fan of that, but you have a threat on the other side also with Harry Kane. He's of course world class, probably better all round than Haaland, and also as dangerous in the box. So
Haaland actually is ranked higher as a scorer.
Yeah, and I can argue for both. You know, it's very tight, but it's probably a goal minimum to each of them in today's game. So
right.
we can say it's 1-1 already. I guess.
Yeah. It'll be a good game. Sorry guys, this is about investing. We're here talking about stocks. We just it's just funny because we've known each other for a long time, so it's funny to actually have teams that are in something together. But this whole week's been choppy. Where's the comp? I had it up on here. I know a lot of people use the S&P, but I for some reason stick with the Nasdaq. But I don't know. I mean, it is pulling up. Like it almost. It's tough to say if the line is like truly tight or if it's more like that. You know what I mean? And the thing I'm thinking is we have these higher lows and stuff. So like. I don't know. I think the markets want to recover, but now we have all this Iran news, and I don't think it's gonna. I don't know.
No, I mean the chart itself, it doesn't look bad, right? You can also argue that it's just healthy after a run we had from April, that is bound to move a bit sideways and choppy. But it's kind of setting up nicely, unless it breaks down, of course. But no, I think that line you drew there is it needs to break solid out of that to continue here.
Yeah, because my like when I look at like the S&P now, this does have lower highs. Now, if Monday can break up, I would think that clears a level of resistance and looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a little extended still, but. The other thing that's so confusing is like this just drop off. Like, I don't know. So since I've been really watching, I really pay attention opening to what's moving because that's how I kind of make my decision and what I'm going to go into and try and go quick with it. Yesterday was like maybe this either the worst or second worst that I've seen because there's only one other day that came to mind that I remember it being this slow of an open to the point that like there was nothing. I mean, when I looked around, at least on my watch list, I'm sure. I mean, I know there was a few things that ended up moving and whatnot. FBRX is doing really well after I think it was earnings or guidance. One of the two they had put out, and they had a trial. It was a trial that came back with really good news. The other one was RXT had a great recovery day because that got smacked the day before for dropping guidance. But those are really the two that like are in my kind of wheelhouse that I saw, but nothing else. I mean, nothing. And even those had low volume comparative to what they should.
Yeah, I think RXT moved 22%, and you only got 140 in R-vol, or 40 more than the normal volume. That's not a lot on a 22% move.
No, and I mean, this was probably an overreaction on Thursday, so probably a lot of this is just like people being like, guys, it's not great, but it's not like the end of the world.
I'm pretty sure it was overreaction because it came with some news also with some deals and stuff.
Yeah.
So I expect the RXT to recover quite a bit actually. But no, it was yesterday you said that, like to me at least, that nothing is going on. And I saw the same. I just went through a few of the things that I was watching. If you take MXL, for example, a high ADR stock, the volume only reached like just below 30 in R-vol, which is super low.
Yeah, this actually, I mean, I'm not saying like Monday would break out, even though this volume's getting really low. It looks good.
This one looks good, and it looks like it can really bounce up. This one, I think. This is on top of my list.
Just and two, I used to not like these because I almost think it ruins the trend. But at the same time, too, if you just focus on the actual major part of the trend, this shows you that it wants to break out. It's trying to.
Exactly, yeah. And the sell-off comes on low-ish volume, after.
Right.
Which was also Wednesday and Thursday. What did the market do then? Wednesday, 1st of July. Yeah, those were 2 down days on the market pretty heavily, also on Thursday. So it's probably just following the market. And I bought the breakout on Monday, 29th of June. So I took a little bit off the next day. So I got a little profit on it. But this is one I want to be positioning. And if you look at Wednesday, 8th of July, it found support on the 50 EMA almost perfectly, as it did on Tuesday, 9th of June. So it's also refusing to break down properly,
Yeah.
So I think that will be an interesting watch.
Yeah, and then just to update, because I wasn't on last week. Sorry, guys. It was July 4th weekend, and I was just with family and everything, so it just became hard to even try and pull it off. But what do you call it? So overall, this week, I'm just very slightly down, like literally 0.6%. So I don't really care. It's kind of a wash of a week. Now, I know it's not looking good here. The year to date's now negative, but I'm still sticking with the strategy. I've been following all my numbers and tracking everything, and everything still looks good. And it's just fine tuning things. I keep fine tuning stuff. So I'm hoping that I can finally recover. Now, just to give you a glimpse of how this can fluctuate. Last week, at one point, I had a 15% return. Now I was able to lose that properly because I'm an idiot. But it just fluctuates a lot. And right now is a slower time in the markets. So this strategy is going to slow down drastically in this time. And, I have added in days not to trade. What's up?
Are you cutting down on the sizing now, or is it still the same?
Nah, it's the same.
Yeah.
No,
probably.
Like I said, it may be that in the long run, once I have more data, there'll be time periods where I can appreciate that I should like size down. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. I'm just right now I'm still collecting the data, and I like you might as well keep the full size because to be honest, I don't really care at this point. Like you said, it's not about the money. It's about the execution. So it's like I just want to keep everything steady as is. And technically, if I had been keeping it, if I had just followed the strategy perfectly, I would be up. So it's not that it's not working or anything like that. It's just And like I said, it's all in hindsight too, because there is little things I changed as I went through the past 2 weeks. So it's not like I could have actually outperformed. But knowing what I know now, hopefully going forward, I can apply all that.
Yeah.
But so either way, I mean, it's just a little choppy right now. So we'll see. I'm not changing anything in terms of adjusting major strategy ideas. I'm just sticking with this for now.
Yeah.
And hopefully, the thing is just a few good weeks totally change everything. So
It sounds like it if you manage to get 15%.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can have big days. I mean, really,
Yeah.
Really strong days. So it's
Yeah.
not unheard of to make all that right back, which is why I really don't. I mean, I don't want to say I don't care, because it's not like exciting to be down, but it's also part of the process. That's what I'm rationalizing with myself.
If you get this to work, and let's say it works so well that you double your account, that drawdown you have just had now, it's you wouldn't care too much about it,
No, and that's the big thing too, is like if you look back, at some of the numbers, it's more than double. I mean, it's way more than double. So like
Yeah.
the idea of having these larger pullbacks but then bigger wins, it just is part of it. It's definitely a higher risk strategy, but I feel like I keep moving towards something like this because as I've said, and it's probably been a minute since I said on here. So most of my stuff is in separate accounts. So like my overall retirement and stuff is not part of this. So this is not that I want to lose this money. It's money, but like it's not going to make or break me as a person financially. So it's like, this is the whole point of this, is to become, just to kill it with this chunk of change. So
Yeah.
If it works, great. If not, I guess this is the price of my hobby. So, which at this point, I laugh because I call it a hobby, but I mean, it's really become more of an obsession. So, this is what I do most of the time, which, everyone says you have to kind of put this much time in to really see results. And, the more I do it, the more I realize that how much you need to understand, like the fine details of things. And, I feel like when you start paying attention to like super small details, it does help make things click, because there's all kinds of things that I see now that I never saw before. And especially watching and trying, I've done long-term strategies, I've done day trading, I've done swing trading, and you have like this appreciation for how all these things kind of are working together.
Yeah. Isn't it stupid? I sometimes I speak with people who are like much longer term than I am, and also it's clear they have not really read a lot about investing and stuff. They just, if I buy Microsoft on this dip, I will make money, stuff like that, But isn't it stupid how often you see people who have different styles and they speak about the same stocks, and it starts to be like arguments instead of just acknowledging that there are two different styles and both may work. And actually, if you find a system where you can combine these styles, you would probably hugely successful, over the long run.
Yeah, I agree. Value's in here. He said he's going to get up and watch the game.
Sup, guys, going to get up and watch the game tomorrow morning. That's the spirit, Value. We need the support. I expect to see you row. We all need to row the boat. So
Yeah.
we can row to the semi-final.
Well, every 5 minutes we'll do a row. Okay.
Yeah.
That way we're all in sync.
That's awesome. We need the support.
No, that's gonna be an exciting game. I'm rooting for you guys. No offense to anyone from England, but
yeah,
Norway's gonna beat you.
But today we are enemies. We don't like England today, so that's just how it is.
Some days.
And they are back to the football a bit. They are so cocky, They say, if Norway beat us, I will row down the Hudson River and stuff like that. So I want to see them in the boat,
Yeah, and I don't know if they know this, but you don't want to go in the Hudson River. I don't know GE and all these other companies put in that water, but you know,
Yeah.
you can drive over it and look at it. It always looks nice, but don't get in that water.
Yeah, well, I still want to see them in the bottom. No, but how was your week investing wise value? Because I saw you mention ALTO, and I agree. I don't know if you can pull them up there.
Yeah, I was going to. It's a solid chart. I
It's
mean,
kind of a lot,
crazy.
like a long base here, right? Holding up.
Yeah.
The reason that it doesn't come up in my scans right now with how I have moved into the strategy that I'm doing now is it has too low of a dollar volume on average. So
I was gonna say, is that what it is?
doesn't
Because
show up.
it doesn't pop up in my stream or in my scans either.
Yeah, that's at least what it is for me, because I think the ADR is 6.29, but the average dollar volume is only 14.51 million, which I could have taken just a couple of months or so ago, but I decided to raise that substantially up to 50 million to 75 to 100 million is what I prefer now.
In a day?
No, this is like the last 30 days, I think.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, no.
I was like, dude, you're gonna only see like mega caps.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I think I have. I think it's the 30-day in the calculation. Let me have a look.
How does Q do it?
No, this is. I have actually based it off him. 20 days is the calculation. He has said, like, for a new account, you should probably not look below 50, but you could,
Yeah.
He said, like, but at least
On
have
the
a
20-day, you're
cutoff.
saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
I assume it is. That's pretty normal to use. So he, but he prefers, like, the more the better. So he prefers over 100 million, I think.
Gotcha.
So that's the reason why it doesn't show up in my scans. But the chart looks pretty strong, to be honest, considering how we have moved in the market. My RS rating on it is 99, which is the top score. You saw on Friday yesterday, it dipped down to the 21 EMA and it came back up again. And if you draw some lines on it now, you can argue that gave you a pretty tight bar here. So, I think with the war news and all that stuff, ALTO has performed well when oil has also performed good and kept strong when oil is down, so.
Right.
It's one of the stronger charts, I think, up here.
No, it looks great still. I mean, it's still holding in there. And actually, it dipped down and hit the 5, like, perfectly on my Bollinger Band here. That center dotted line here is the 5.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's a buy area also. If it dips down to the what is the pink line you have there? Then is
That's a
50,
50,
right? Yeah, you see find support twice there. So maybe it's like if you do like pullback buys or something, maybe that's an area you should wait for if it drops, in the coming days.
Max is in here too.
Yeah, Max is back here. Hi guys, you saw ALTO almost $5 now. It is 563. So yeah.
Maybe he meant 6.
I think I'm out of ALTO, Max. So I have not got my money back here. So
still waiting.
Yeah, I don't know if you have watched the streams or not, but since it's a long time I have seen you in here, so I don't remember if I have said it to you, but I'm out of ALTO for a long time now. But looking for ways to get my money back, and maybe if you do swing trading here, it starts to look interesting, even if the dollar volume is below my thing. ALTO is one exception I can potentially make, because also in 2020, like from November when it started to deliver on the earnings, it has actually surprised on 3 earnings in a row, and the stock price has gone, like Max was saying here, from below $1 to 5.
Yeah, it's an impressive move it's made.
Yeah. Value is still in ALTO. Mood stops up on everything else early in the week and got stopped on everything else. So a flat week for me. Okay.
This is the
Good managing though.
5-year weekly. I mean, it's taken it's pretty impressive how quick this moved, because it hasn't been here since 2022.
Which is a period I was involved. But Dane, I have to say, I am not up to date on the story anymore.
Yeah,
I
neither
don't
am
know.
I've been so
I don't
busy with
know
everything
if
else.
they I don't know if they plan to sell off the assets finally, or you know, the crush margin, all that stuff. I have no idea. So other than just pure technical, I can't really add something here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure we could, delve in. I'm sure Justin's keeping up on it. He's always been in this.
Just go to Justin and read up.
Yeah, he'll give you the DL real quick.
Yeah, maybe Value knows if he's still in it, but yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it was Friday was. I mean, when I go to like my watch lists, I mean, there was a few things that ended up moving towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, almost everything on my list was down. I mean,
I had some interesting observations when I did the scans, Dane, and one of them was a big move in NVDA,
I haven't looked at NVIDIA in a minute.
which I saw like some
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
you're right.
some of the semiconductor stocks. They started the day red, all of them, and some of them, not too many, but some of them turned green, like AMD, for example, which also looked pretty good here. But if NVIDIA starts to come up again, like this is something you like to see right now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is good for the markets no matter what, just because of the size. I mean, it's.
Yeah. And another giga cap that has been moving the last 2 days is Meta, Facebook. I think it's a gigantic move.
Oh wow, yeah. Did they have earnings?
No, it's on some news. AI plan, probably.
No shit.
Yeah. But if you take from the low there on Thursday to the top of Friday, it's like 17% for a big stock like that. You know, and this is probably contributing a lot, those two stocks alone, to how the QQQ ended up positive on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know. Meta's having something with AI that they weren't happy with on Instagram.
And
people messing with
Zuckerberg
photos.
has watched our stream. You just need to put up something with AI, and the stock goes up 20%.
That's why I was going to come out with the laughing stock AI ticker.
We should write it like laughing with LAI.
That's brilliant.
Max is saying, yes, I am all over hopping strategies, trying to find a strategy fitting my job. Yeah, I can relate to that.
I get you.
That is not easy.
Yeah, that's why I was talking to Johnny before the stream, Max, and I was saying that with this strategy, my sells, whether it's a stop loss or the actual sell point, are kind of locked. I don't really play with it. So what I started doing is, once I take my purchase, I literally just shut my computer off, that like, or I make sure like I close the internet at least or whatever, so I'm not watching it, because it's so easy all day to sit there and think about it, and it's like, and it's so unproductive, because that entire time nothing matters. I'm not going to change what I'm doing. I'm just going to sit there and stress myself out thinking about it. And there's days where you're up 5%, then you're down 5%, and it's like, instead of sitting there thinking about, where you're at right then, and some, like, just just let it happen, because like I said, the numbers I'm checking, it works out in the long run anyway. So just focus on what matters, which is, execution.
Yeah. And also when you start to feel like that and you have to peek at it every now and then while working, your head is not clear, that this is the
Right.
hard part. And it's easier then to do some mistakes that you feel like is the right thing to do in a moment, and then in hindsight it was a mistake, right? I bet that happens. And I'm the same. Like sometimes I come home and the market has opened exactly when I come home from work. I'm exhausted. I'm hungry. There's all kinds of noise in my apartment.
Right.
I'm just. It's not the best environment. But you said something to me a while back, Dane, that this is the hardest it will be, because if it works slowly, you can start to do it more.
Right.
So this is the hardest point in the investing career if you're going to succeed. So that's something I have actually thought about a lot, because it's very true.
You listen to like Q and those guys, and they literally said that they think if they had like a family and stuff and other, like things that they had to worry about while they were learning this, they don't think they would have gotten there.
Yeah, he even said it in the Market Wizard book. I think that it's impossible, he said.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely doing this backwards. I wish I would have done this in my 20s, not now.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like I said, the good thing for me is, whether you want to call it a hobby or a second job or whatever, I enjoy it enough that it's not like a pain, like,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's depressing at times, that part I'll say, but I think that's just the emotion of, throwing money at anything.
Yeah. But losing 60% of your position on bad ALTO earnings has helped me to brush things off a bit easier.
Yeah, every time you get crushed, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. So Value is saying, I'm mainly kept up with Justin's reports, potential for year-round E15 still, but the main drive for ALTO is the current crush margin has risen significantly since Q1.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a little bit of the same thesis, it sounds like then. Which is good, because at these levels, it was the first time I started to invest in ALTO, and I know that was also Justin's first time. And the thesis has, if it's kind of the same thesis now, the potential was always, that will take the next step business-wise without selling assets and stuff like that. The assets was like a backup plan,
Mm-hmm.
So it was the crush margin, it was the execution of management, it was like the move to specialty alcohol and biofuel and all that stuff, which the world was trending towards in that period and still is, I guess. It was all those things, and the potential to go into new markets where they can take a big portion.
Right. So yeah, I'm actually surprised it doesn't pop up on my screener, but like you said, it must be the dollar value or something that's keeping it outside.
Yeah, maybe.
But actually, I didn't run my screeners from Friday, so that was like those ones I just showed you. That was from Thursday, so not totally updated, but
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, some major things that I always like to see who's insider buying, and it's low. I mean, this is a really low amount for the past week. So
yeah, that's low. I can't remember last time I saw this low, right?
No, it's been a long time, and like I said, I know I had showed it a little bit ago, but the market strength is low. I mean, overall. And, everybody has different ways of using it. I know Pradeep, he focuses more on just how much the stuff's up 4% and how much is down, which I get it because it's the breadth of the market. I get that point. I've gotten used to this because I'm so used to looking at my version of it. And, these are different screeners I run, and this just in general stocks that are up and down. And, I And I mean, you can see in terms of stuff that's breaking out, that number has really plummeted this last week. I mean, each day there's
really.
only a few stocks that you could have actually nailed. So,
And I told you before the stream, Dane, that when I did the research for the intro video, I always go through the daily and the weekly movers that I used when we did the deep value style, and it was few moves, very few moves, like very few big moves in either direction. So it just seems like everyone's just careful now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's not a lot of stuff towards its highs, which is always like a big metric for momentum, in my opinion. You know, when everything's pushing through its highs, it's a great time to trade. There's just stuff all over the place that people are dumping money into. Where as opposed to right now, and like if you look, like I said, it's 16.3 now. We only get this low since I've been tracking this year. I mean, we hit 11 on 330. So could have still some more down days, but that's at an absolute low. I think there was one more at the start of the year. Yeah, right at the turn of the year. Which, funny enough, if you look at the week after Christmas, that is always a shitty week.
Yeah.
I've looked back. I think there was like 1 year. I looked back like 10 years, and there was 1 year it was okay. So
people don't want to mess up the P&L.
Right. Well, the week of Christmas or before it essentially is always a great week. Like it's really high, and then that week that follows, no one is trading or anything. It's not a good time to be in something because there's a lot of Christmas sell off. Yeah. But but yeah, we're definitely at a drought right now. That's my point.
Yeah, for sure. But in my scans, like I showed my AI in the last stream, so everyone who watched that knows what I'm talking about now. But in my scan, then that shows up in my AI, I get the groups that have the most tickers in each scan, and it's still biotech, software, and semiconductor. So even in a sideways move like we are in now, those groups have been pretty strong. But I did see also then on Friday, the biotech group got hit hard, like all of them are down pretty big actually. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there in the next week. Because there were also a few setups that I liked there in IBRX, for example, in TNGX, ELVN, they all looked pretty good to me. But let's see, it needs to come back a little bit from that Friday move because a few of them got hit really hard,
Yeah, like I said, the only thing I saw was FBRX, and that was just because they had a good clinical trial data, so that kind of saved them. Because even if you look at that chart before, I think that was I think it was bouncing. Yeah, it had dipped quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, if it wasn't for that good news, this probably wouldn't have popped. Which, funny enough, that news, even though it came out here, that this is the insider signal that all of a sudden there was good news going to come out, because there's no way this random day had this volume.
You always see that, right?
Which, it just makes me think when I see, I was thinking, because I saw the news and then I pulled this chart up and I'm like, oh, you know what, next time I see that news, if you see within the last week or so a big purchase, that should be a huge red flag that insiders knew that news was coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So.
And like I said earlier with the semi groups, they came back, a few of them, not too many, but I think when you looked at NVIDIA then, let's say they continue to perform, the semiconductor has gone sideways and a bit choppy for a little bit now, right? There is actually a few names there that is starting to look pretty good again. So that will be some area to focus on, I think, moving forward, depending on what happened, of course. But also software looks really good, I think. If you pull up CCC, a bit of a laggard, but it was up 10% on Friday. Dave If you go to Dave, Dane, still doing strong.
Dave.
I'm very impressed by Dave.
Wow, what a beautiful jump off the 10.
Yeah, exactly. It performed exactly like you want it to do, right? And it's still not too extended, in my opinion. It's like pretty cool here. I'm not gonna trim. So yeah, I think these three groups are the groups I'm gonna focus on. I'm trying to eliminate, if I see a good setups in other groups than these, I'm trying to eliminate them a little bit from my focus list because I feel like I did a mistake where I gave back all my profits earlier this year by going into good setups in groups that were not hot, you know? So that's kind of one of my small adjustments lately that I'm going to stick with for a bit and see how we can improve. And so far, I have to say, I have given back still some gains, but a lot less than before.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest part. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean other than that, like I said, just most of the stuff's been pulling back. That's on my watch list.
I feel like if the market can break out again from that base we have been talking about, there are a lot of good opportunities in already what has been strong movers, you know.
Yeah, what are the futures right now?
Oh, I've been forever since I looked at this.
Oh my God, get out of here. I am using an ad blocker, and this is just worse.
I think I deleted it because of that stuff. Don't you have it
there's
in
a way
your...
I can even get around it. I just don't even, I don't honestly haven't done it in a minute. I don't feel like doing it on the stream, but
don't you have it in your dashboard sheet?
I don't know about future. Like I'm talking like for the indices. Yeah, this doesn't have like live futures on it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not like it's gonna be anything crazy. Actually,
Argentina popping up and Brazil also. I see some people talk about Latin America now. And Meli is always a favorite. And if you look at Meli, it's on the move up.
It's mixed when I look at the futures. What was it?
Meli, M-E-L-I. If you believe in the South American market, it's gonna come. You know, this is a old favorite amongst a lot of traders.
Well, it's a huge company.
Yeah, huge company. And it just now broke up through the 150 EMA, on my chart at least. And the volume is slowly coming in here, even if it's below the average now. Probably worth keeping an eye on.
Some of these big companies I always like to scale out to see it because I feel like it's harder to appreciate the inner moves are less important, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like the bigger the company, I almost like the longer the holding period. I you know, there's some kind of scalability to that in my mind, just because they can't make big moves. There's only so much money that can go into some of these. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can have like an NVDA, but like, or an Apple, but that's just calling the best company out, you know, which is, you know, more like the Buffett idea.
But on that monthly chart that you have now, it looks good, you know.
Right.
I don't know. It's just something you should keep an eye on. And if I can also add in a chart, I feel like it looks really good. Then is hyper liquid, which is a cryptocurrency. I don't know if you can find it in your...
What was it?
It's called hyper liquid in one word. Yeah, that chart I think looks super good actually.
Yeah, that's a beautiful chart.
Yeah, and it moves completely different to all other cryptos. So my plan, if I see I can get into it, is to do like a ETF version of it, which exists. But if you look at Bitcoin, for example, it did reverse off of the floor around 60K again, and it is on the move up slowly here. So, you know, if you do see a rotation out of some of the AI movers, it can land into the crypto space, you know, it has done that before. So then I'm going to be interesting to see what this hyperliquid is going to do, because I kind of think that chart looks pretty textbook VCP, right?
No, right now it does. It's just, I feel like crypto as a whole needs to kind of break
Yeah, I'm
out.
not
Like
gonna do
I would like to
anything
see
else.
Bitcoiners like kind of push this forward, because without Bitcoin, it just makes me think the whole thing is a lot of false moves. Don't get me wrong, like there's ETFs and all that stuff for like hyperliquid, so like that might do its own thing, but in general, I feel like they're always tied.
I wouldn't do anything with the hyperliquid unless Bitcoin can show that it wants to move up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max is saying, what do you think of Claude portfolio / AI managed stock portfolios in general? You got a feeling
Me
toward them?
personally, I am not looked into it, like the accuracy and how it will work. In general, I have thought that AI is excellent at helping me finding information, but terrible at giving me advice to where to invest. That's my take on it so far.
Yeah, I think there's opportunity there, because I think you could set up systematic trading based on certain things, but the problem is I think the AIs themselves will most likely eliminate most of the edges that they find because of the way that they think. So my point being is, what makes a human able to find an edge is the fact that like there's nuance that like we can come across and think about that might be more of a feel thing than it is necessarily just like a numbers thing, you know, and like you know what other humans are thinking in general, like you have like this feel for that I don't think AI will ever have. So I think and I haven't seen any portfolios actually outperform yet. I'm not saying there isn't, I just haven't seen someone post anything really. So my thing is, I think a lot of the AIs, even if they did find an edge, other AIs would immediately copy it and get rid of it. So I have a hard time thinking that AI is going to be able to really find edges. I think it's just too technical. It's going to be looking at data and numbers and trying to think like, oh, this is exactly what I should do because, you know, this is a numbers thing. And I think it would really struggle because the markets there's just so much human variability that gets added in. It's not going to follow any kind of simple rule set.
I think I saw it was a joke, you know, but I think it was a real picture. They said they showed a graph of someone who had used AI to invest, and it was like minus, I don't know, a big percentage, and they say, oh yeah, AI is actually like humans.
Yeah,
But
so
Max is saying, yeah, I'm wondering if it will go on like that. Claude portfolio made 70% the last year, which is impressive. I haven't seen anything like that. I also think like what you said, Dane, if they start to perform, everyone will do it. And you can argue that you're actually going to get an edge doing something different, right?
yeah, I just think if Claude made 70%, great. So obviously it works whatever it's doing, but I have a hard time thinking that you're competing in a war zone in terms of yeah, and the problem is I would want to know after a longer time frame how long the AI outperforms, because like I said, the markets are going to adjust, and I have a hard time thinking that the AI will have the nuance to be able to come up with realistic adjustments, because no matter what, the data is going to keep saying to do what you're doing, and other AIs are going to do it. So
Fox was saying, yeah, it will replace a hedge fund with a generic AI, but I don't know, the edge will disappear sometime. That's what you answer right now, Dane. But no, I also think like even the Claude one, I just assume that someone has programmed it or prompted it to look at certain things then. So it is actually a human strategy in that regard, which is like just makes the strategy more automated, I guess, and
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
quick.
I was just going to say the one awesome thing that AI can do is you can feed it an incredible amount of data and say I want you to look at all these metrics, and you can just keep feeding it ideas. So I think as a tool, it's super helpful.
Yeah,
But AI is changing so quickly; it's hard to say.
yeah.
As far as
It
we've
can
come, I
happen,
also still see huge misses in AI. So, I mean,
but it's like if they start to perform, and you can let's say you can go into interactive brokers and just put your money into an AI portfolio or something like that. Everyone will do that, right?
right, and then it won't outperform because everyone's
Yeah,
doing it.
then it kind of just like defeat itself, which is where I said like then you can argue you're going to get an edge if you have seen something yourself, and train your if all of these happen and you have trained to spot things in the market like nuances and signs. You will also notice when everyone is doing that with the AI and stuff, you will also notice patterns that are new that you can take advantage of that everyone else it's kind of going to move like index funds then, I guess, like something like that.
Yeah, I think it would just open up like how like you can put your money into like USA, world economy,
Yeah,
different
yeah,
caps. Like
yeah,
AI will be an option too, but
yeah,
kind of to your point, what I would think would happen is AI, because of the long term idea of having an AI run a portfolio. The AI is going to look to how can it outperform by taking on the least risk, because you have to put both those variables in. And the problem is you can never account for like a crazy scenario. So because of that variable, and this is what blows up hedge funds, is they're like, well, there's like a 0.001% chance that this would blow up. Well, that 0.001% chance comes up at some point. So it
I was
takes
gonna
out the hedge
say
fund.
like I was gonna say like because I have I'm no expert, but I have used a lot of time building Link, right, and other systems with AI, and I'm not a coder. I don't know everything. I'm self-taught, but my experience with using Gemini and ChatGPT and others as well, it's like I'm very very hesitant to open it up to do things automatic for me. And I know that Claude can do it, like they have built it very different than I'm able to do. But I think I will still always be very, very hesitant to give AI access to handling my money, because I have seen how stupid it can be,
Yeah, it
you
doesn't
know?
care if it throws your money in a hole. Like it
No,
doesn't
and I have
have
to say one
feelings.
thing. I think this is an important thing that I don't remember if I spoke about it on stream, but through building Link, one of the features I'm trying to add is to track airplanes, like company airplanes, through the airplane numbers. And I asked, this was Gemini, I asked it 100 times before, like, is it gonna cost me something to collect these numbers, because it had to do some Google searches for me, and it repeatedly said no. And I found like ways to ask it and try to put like caps in place and stuff like that. And once again, I'm an amateur. This is probably stupid of me, but the point is, it ended up costing me money, even though it said it didn't multiple times before. Um, but it was covered in Gemini. You get like $300, I think, for free to use on tokens from the API. So it ended up being free for me anyways, because it was within the free tokens. But the point was, after I said, like, what the fuck are you doing? This cost me money. Like you said, it wasn't going to cost me money. And immediately it switched over to speaking like, I cannot be responsible for this. This was your actions alone. It threw me completely under the bus, you know?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have any understanding of money. I mean, it doesn't
No.
feel or think. It's
No.
no matter what, it doesn't
so
care.
So clearly it was programmed to just like push you under the bus. It had nothing, it could not be held responsible whatsoever. And I kind of agree to a certain extent. I hold myself responsible, right? I'm not putting any excuses out there, but it was a bit dangerous to see how much it wanted to distance itself from the problem, which I assume Google has coded into it, you know?
Right.
And by the way, they have also made it very complicated to track your spending on the APIs and stuff. In my opinion, it should be way more easy. So I'm just very hesitant to involve AI with my money in any kind of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not to say there's probably not a place in a portfolio for it. Like I would think it's not a bad idea even nowadays to throw like if you're like a truly diversified investor and you have like all these different like accounts and you're just trying to find spots to stick money in, to stick some percentage of your portfolio in an AI ran one that shows like a 70% return, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Do I trust it wholly? No, not at all. I trust it to blow up an account, which anyone can do. So,
it is like humans, right?
like the way I'm starting to think of AI is this collective imagining of all of humans' ideas. But the problem is humans have just as many brilliant ideas as we do really, really dumb ones. So it's this reflection of that. It's really brilliant and it's also really dumb.
Really stupid at times.
Yeah.
And
So
it sucks like connecting the dots. That's what my biggest issue. Like connecting dots of things I've said to it in the past, because it throws out the history,
right.
But like once again, I don't know how investing one would work. But I was also going to make a point about the oil fund we have. The boss there, he's super into AI, and you have to be able to code to get a job in that oil fund right now. And AI is everywhere within that organization, So also big funds, big institutions, they use AI a lot to help them with investing. And then can you call those portfolios like AI portfolios? Yeah, I can argue a little bit that you can, right?
Right.
Because it's heavily influenced on AI information.
Yeah. That's a great point. I think just more its effect on everything is going to continue to become more invasive, and I don't say that in a negative way. I'm just saying it's just going to be more pronounced because everyone's starting to use it for every possible scenario you can think of, and it's just because it's a big time saver. I mean, it's a work smarter, version of things.
Yeah.
So, there's all kinds of manual tasks I do at my job where now I filter it through AI because it would take me an hour of, just because of the manual amount of me clicking and typing and doing all this stuff. And I'm just going to feed it through that because it does it and it figures. And, I just double check my work quick. Every time it sends me an answer, I just compare it to some numbers that I had just to make sure. So, when I do a project, if it should take me 2 hours, it might take me 20 minutes now because I'll do maybe 5 or 10 minutes of actual work to make sure I know what some real numbers should be. Then I'll run it through AI and let it do the rest. And then I double check it against my numbers to make sure that, at least the portion I checked is accurate. And as long as it is, I mean, it's a big time saver. So
it's how you should use it, I think. And I'm pretty, one point that I have experienced with it that I'm pretty, it's important to me, this point, because Dane, how exhausting it was for your brain to build out the Roaring Kitty sheets.
Yeah.
Right? Before AI. I had some days where I was like just cooked in my brain. I had to go to sleep, because I've been and I kept thinking about stuff like, it was exhausting in my head at times to try to find, number one, to learn everything, to learn how to build sheets, and to learn how financial things were going to be read, to learn the calculations, to learn what they meant, and then to set it all up and connect all the universes with each other and all that stuff. It was so exhausting on the brain. And now, with AI, I can make something as impressive because Roaring Kitty's spreadsheet, which is much better than the one I was able to create, right? It is impressive for a single person with no knowledge of how to do that, to build that. But now I can do as impressive things with the help of AI. And I have also done that, like my tracker sheets and portfolio sheets. I have made them. I haven't showed those on the stream yet because it involves a lot of personal information. But I managed to build like pretty solid sheets with the help of AI, and I have not been cooked in the head at all. You know, it's still my ideas. I know what I want. I know what I want to do, and AI would never come up with these ideas for me. So I have to drag it in the right direction. So that can be a bit exhausting, right? But it's nowhere close to the same brain power as I had to use for building the first sheets, which is a bit of an important point for me in terms of using AI. Like, we should be careful to not start to become lazy with our brains, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've said this before. You know, I just think AI just needs to be used as a tool. I mean, maybe someday it can really automate stuff, you know. But as of now, it's like self-driving cars right now. Like, I'm on board with the idea, but like, I don't trust it yet.
I'm not going to be the test person, no. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be being like, oh, we're going to take this crazy turn, but we're not turning. So.
Also, what annoys me with that is like a scenario, the classic scenario, right? Do you drive on 2 people that are kids, or do you drive into 10 people that are a mix of people?
No, see, this is where you don't have to worry. The AI made the choice.
Yeah, but someone has programmed the AI to take that choice, and that is like, then you are starting to play God, right? I have some issues with that. The AI would probably go with the 2 kids, right?
Well, you know, get out of the fucking street.
Yeah.
No, I don't. There's no good answer to these questions. What do you call it?
Right.
This is at this point it's totally sidetracked. But I don't know. Next week, I think we're gonna need some news from this Iran idea if we're gonna turn this into a more serious conflict again, or once again now, you know, Trump's like, you know, I'm gonna threaten him hard and make him scared, or I don't know what the hell his point or goal is here. I don't know if anyone knows, including him. But
I said to you before the stream that to me it comes across like there's some heavy threats against him now that he starts to believe in because of all the tweets he made and all that stuff.
Yeah,
he looked a bit scared.
I mean, he's got a target on him. He has for a while. You know, and I think that as anybody, that would weigh on your conscience. You know. So it's not like I care. I'm not trying to talk politically. I'm just saying I think that in general, it's, you know, trying to figure out what's going on here.
Max was just saying, and in hindsight, I think this deep value style investing is working best on commodity-related companies like SSRM or ALTO. They all played out when commodity prices rising. Especially SSRM follow gold prices perfectly, right?
Yeah, and then value.
The trick is then to find like when a company can be so undervalued that you should go into it, right? And for SSRM, that catalyst was a big accident, as we have spoken about 100 times.
Yeah, and I agree, Max. But that's what makes deep value interesting, because deep value is the idea that like the commodity ones are a little bit easier to appreciate in terms of the story, commodities cyclically at a low price, which, causes the business's revenues to be down or whatever. And then as it comes back up, everything goes well. But you can think of that in terms of any business. When we look at, when we used to look at like retail, because retail is pretty big with deep value, a lot of those companies, it's for whatever reason, their products come and go, they fade or they do well, or they come out with something new. All that is this, it's the same idea. It's nothing's changed in terms of whether it's a commodity or the product that they're selling. The bigger thing with most deep value that you can try and pull off is the fact that some of these things, the reason why the price is so low is because of the debt. So you're just worried about the company going under, but if they can survive, that's where it makes for a great opportunity. So I think deep value traditionally for those things are tough right now because the chance of interest rates going higher make it more dangerous for debt, people with debt, because as interest rates go up, the debt becomes more expensive. It's harder to refinance. It's harder to get new debt. So where I think in the 2010s and on to like 2020 and COVID times where we had this lowered interest rate that kind of continued to drop and it had a hard time really bouncing back up. Now we have so much inflation going on that the chance of the interest being higher is up. So I actually think that deep value style in terms of right now is actually tougher to do. I haven't really back checked that, but those are major factors that now, like looking back, that I know affect deep value, and just the breadth of things that you can get into. But anything cyclical, when it comes to a commodity. No, I know what you're saying with a commodity, that it won't vanish, and I agree with that point. But that's what makes deep value different than just value. Like commodity, cyclical commodity investing, I would argue that's that value. But not necessarily deep value. ALTO is being specialty chemicals. Yeah, we can argue that that's deep value. But like SSRM, that's just gold. I would just argue that's commodity investing. You're just buying something cyclically. And if anything, the catalyst of the accident made that one even clearer because it oversold on the fact that it was a terrible tragedy, but that had nothing to do with the product and the revenues. Yeah. Besides getting that mine back up.
It was when we did a deep value, like the goal was always to find some ratio that looked good and that you thought were solid and relevant for the company that they could use if everything went to hell, with the debt, and then to look into the debt if they could manage, if you thought they could manage, the chances of dilution. Just the story, insiders, institutions, what management had said in the guidings, like you're trying to piece together so many things, and then you can also hit some good home runs on stuff that are also not commodity based,
Yeah, but I do get your point, Max, in just saying that like the commodity ones maybe are a little bit cleaner in terms of understanding the story. Where like you're talking, like for instance, I just heard that they were talking about the new PlayStation. It won't have discs, and I know that got backlash, but they were saying when I think it was PlayStation 5 launched, either that or PlayStation 4, I don't remember which one it was. I think they said the amount of digital downloads was like 15%, where now it's over 80. So it really has changed in the past, console generation or whatever. So the whole GameStop idea, where it was going to survive on discs and discs weren't dead, that was Roaring Kitty's kind of initial thesis. That doesn't hold much anymore now. So that kind of thinking changes. So, but in terms of commodities too, I mean, let's say tomorrow, I mean, certain commodities are, you don't see them disappearing, but you never know. Because like oil for now, like what if tomorrow someone comes up with like a technology that just eliminates oil as a need? I mean, it would be groundbreaking and it would totally change, but like you can't predict for that factor,
like the world is trying, right?
Right. Everyone's looking for it. So it's not like it's not possible. I get it, it's unlikely, but there is risk of looking at it just from the commodity side too. To say that those don't disappear, I would say it's extremely rare, which is why I'm saying it's probably a good place to look for deep value. But it's just tough too. It always sounds easier than it does, you know, until you start looking into things.
And a lot of them are also like slower movers, though. So you get that point as well. And then the question, why don't you just, for example, in SSRM, maybe you might as well just invest in a gold ETF or something, right?
Yeah.
And save yourself the headache of all the research and all that stuff, because deep value investing takes a lot of reading, a lot of like trying to piece the puzzle together and everything.
Yeah, talk about cooking your brain. I think that's part of the reason I pulled away from deep value for as long as I have, just because it's just so much work.
Yeah, it's so much work. And also for me, though, swing trading resonated a little bit more with me, at least so far. Like I can clearly see how both can work, of course, but the deep value was a bit slower. And like you said, I would have to sit at the computer a lot more.
Yeah, it's a different kind of work. It's less.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. No doubt that I enjoyed it. But
No, I still love all of it, to be honest. And I've taken bits and pieces of everything. Everything is weighed on what my decision making now. So
yeah.
But
But speaking of AI and all that, and probably now you can get good summarize of long articles.
True. I mean, yeah, I would definitely be feeding 10Ks and everything into it to just speed things up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, times are changing in very few years now.
Yeah, true. I guess that is probably a big factor that I didn't have back when I was looking initially.
Yeah.
I do probably got to get going though. Is there anything that you want to cover that you think we missed?
Just I didn't mention that this week the only stock that I've been able to be stuck in is DELL, which I'm very close to being stopped out on after Friday's move. But that's the one I went into this week. So I'm in Dave and I'm in DELL right now. Those two. Which I think DELL looked good on.
It looks good. I could agree. It could pull back to the 20 here easily, but But
I missed it on Wednesday. I wish I took it on Wednesday, but I did actually take it on Thursday, so I was a bit late.
I wish I took it in March.
I was in DELL earlier, remember? I took DELL on 20 of May. So DELL has been a good one for me. But I sold before the gap up because that was earnings.
All right. Well, Max, good talking to you again as well. Value.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
You guys.
Max.
We
and
will
go
follow
Norway.
up.
We all need to get behind Norway now.
Bro.
I'm going out. I might tomorrow. Don't speak to me because either I'm very hungover or I'm very pissed.
Or both.
Yeah. Most likely I'm most hungover, so it's going to be a good game. And we all need to row. Okay.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Everyone have a great rest of your weekend. Next weekend I start vacation, so I may have to adjust my stream timing or something, but
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All good. See you then.
All right, guys.